All right, so let's talk about the 8th cause of a 7-figure business. We have just 2 left after this. And at that point, we have the 10 causes. So what is it? It is affiliates. Okay, we're gonna talk about affiliates right now. Who can tell me what an affiliate is?
Somebody you work with.
Somebody you work with?
Who's not part of your company.
Okay.
Someone that promotes your product.
Yes, so both correct, more specific. Someone who promotes your product. Someone who you have an agreement set up with them where in exchange for them sending you traffic, you send them usually money in return for their customers, for the traffic they send. So if someone sends you 1,000 clicks, right? Clicks is just, say, we use clicks as the term that people use in email. So they have an email list of 40,000 people and they put a link in that email to your product and 1,000 people click that link. That means they've sent you 1,000 clicks to your website, right? And out of those 1,000 clicks, let's say that 22 of them buy the product. You usually, the agreement is set up where you will pay that affiliate a certain predetermined dollar amount for each sale he makes. So if the agreement was, every sale you make, I'll send you 50 bucks. He made 22 sales, you pay him $1,100. Does that make sense to everybody? The math checks out, yeah. So that's how an affiliate agreement would work. There's all kinds of ways that you can do it. You can do it on a CPA, which is what I just described. It stands for cost per acquisition. So every acquisition, every new customer, every customer acquisition you make based on their traffic source, you pay them for the acquisition. So you only pay them when the person buys, right? So that in my example, 1,000 people came, 22 bought. That means 978 people landed on the site, never bought the product. You don't pay them anything for those 978. You only pay them on the action. You can set it up where you only pay them on the action, but instead of it being a flat $20 fee, $50 fee, it could be a percentage, right? You can pay them a 75% commission. That's common on ClickBank. So if my product is 100 bucks and you send a sale, I'll send you 75% of it, which would be $75, okay? All kinds of ways you can do it. I want to talk about more creative ways to get affiliates than the traditional ways, right? Because as you know on Team Capital, one of the best ways to win is to show up like no one else. So if everyone's doing affiliate recruiting the same way, might it behoove you to recruit in a different, unique, more advantageous, beneficial kind of way? The answer is yes. That's why you're nodding your head, right? So here is how I define affiliates, okay? And this is every word in this definition is on purpose. I define affiliates as friends who promote your product or service in exchange for a predetermined commission. The key and operative word there is friends. Okay, friends who promote your product or service in exchange for a predetermined commission. People like doing business with people they like. Okay, this is again one of those things that they won't write about in all the different management books, and you know it's like they'll spend. You know, you go to Harvard MBA and they'll spend 40 hours on all these different management techniques and what to write this person and how to communicate with them and communication strategies and all this shit. And then they'll spend 20 minutes on like, yeah, I know I taught you all that stuff, but like we all know how business is done in the real world, right? It's just friends doing friends. And that's how it is. So like, yeah, take them out for a drink, get them drunk, have a good time with them, build a bond, talk about the future, make future plans, and then, you know, exchange a little inside jokes. You build friendships, people the same way, right? They won't talk about that. Why? I couldn't tell you, maybe because it's not as easy to pin down in a step-by-step process, but I can just tell you that you are going to have the most success in recruiting affiliates if you don't think about it as I'm recruiting affiliates, you think about it as I'm making friends. Such a key distinction, right? You're not recruiting affiliates, you're making friends. And if you become friends with that person, a lot of times you don't even have to ask them to promote your product or set up an affiliate. They will ask you and they'll say, hey, you know, let me promote that offer. Let's set up a JV deal, joint ventureship, right? Where we promote each other back and forth. Okay, so what is it? Like obviously we know why we want affiliates, right? You can drive some of your traffic as you should be driving your own traffic, whether it's organically through search engine optimization or YouTube, or through ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, Bing ads, there's all kinds of ads. Email drops you can do banner ads, there's ads for everything, Amazon ads, right? Well, affiliates are a great source of traffic Who can tell me why affiliates are a great source of traffic? They're free. It's free traffic. And you only have to pay them when you make a sale. Meaning you cannot, as long as you work out a good agreement, you can't lose money with affiliates. It is free money and it is free customers. It is the ultimate way. It is incredible. I've seen businesses go from 0 to 6 figures overnight because they got one big affiliate who mailed for them and sent them, 3,000 new customers. And just like that, they had a 6-figure internet business. It is a huge lever, doesn't matter. Okay? Huge lever for you. So knowing that, the question becomes, what do they want? How do we make friends with them? How do we recruit them? How do we get them to promote? So the key differentiator that I want to talk about is understanding the psychology of an affiliate, okay? When you're talking to someone and you're just making friends with them and they think that you don't want anything from them, is their guard down, yes or no? The guard's down, right? You go to the bar last night, you're talking to people, it's like you just meet someone, they're like, yeah, I know he doesn't want me to promote to my email list or to this person or that person. He's just being cool, he's just making friends. You're sincere, they're open, their guard is down, right? They can just talk with you. Well, the minute you go and you start talking about business instead of, the Mayweather fight, does their guard start to go up the minute you start asking them about their business or them promoting you or you promoting them?
Probably.
They change. It is unbelievable. You will see it if you want to test it and you go to an affiliate summit or somewhere. Talk to someone about dumb stuff, just like normal like dude stuff, like girls or drinking or Mayweather or whatever, and then change the conversation from that to like, okay, let's get down to business, and you will see their entire physiology change. Their tonality will change, their body language will change, their eye contact will change. They'll go from chilling to, oh, you want to talk business now. Guard goes up, right? And they're like, sell me.
I experienced both, man.
You've seen it. It's unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable. And here's the thing. Even if you become friends with them, you mean like real true friends, not just, like don't use people. Like you should, like I consider the whole world my friends, right? That's how I think about it. I just haven't met them yet. But don't use what you know about socializing to just make friends with people so they promote you. Actually build a real friendship with them, actually care about them, do things you do that you do with friends. But even if you have that great relationship with them and you are good friends and you guys are kicking back on a Sunday night at a bonfire having beers, as you turn the conversation to actually talk about promoting, their physiology will still change a little bit. There's a part of them that's like, I know we're friends, but we are talking business now, right? It's not personal, it's business. So that's something that's always gonna be there, and knowing that, we have to ask ourselves, what is it that they really want then, right? Zig Ziglar says that the way to get what you want is to help enough people get what they want. Well, how do we uncover exactly what is it that this affiliate wants, okay? Affiliates want this, okay? The number one thing that affiliates want is they want to make money easily without pissing off their customers. That's all that they want. They want to make money easily without pissing off their customers. So the first big launch that I ever did on the internet using affiliates was I was 21 years old, right? It was a product about speed training for athletes. And great product. I partnered with a guy who'd been in the industry for 30 years, had a lot of credibility. It was a really great product. It was unlike anything that had ever been out there. It was a really good fit. Right? A lot of times people, they ask affiliates to promote, but the product is the exact same thing that everyone else in the market is selling. Right? It's called the Me Too product. Right? 8 people are selling this fat loss product and it looks exactly the same. So like, hey, maybe I should make one. Right? So you make one and it's just the same. And you go to the same affiliates and they're like, dude, I promoted that 8 times last year. Like, this isn't unique. I can't promote the same thing with a different author name. I have to promote something different. Our product was different, right? It fit that. Knowing that I needed to make money for them easily without pissing off their customers. That was like the thing that I was going on. And I knew I needed to build friendships with them. What I did was this. The first thing I did was I found out who is the guy that they all know, right? If I were to, for instance, go like this, and I'm like, here's an affiliate, these are all affiliates that I want to promote my product, right? What I want to figure out is how can I figure out who is the common factor amongst all of them, or whittle it down to as many people as possible. So maybe I find that there are 3 different people who between these 3 know all the other affiliates in the industry. Which people do you think I'm going to build friendships with? I'm going to focus on.
Those 3?
Of course, right? Of course. So that's what I did. Right? I focused on 1, 2, 3. I made great friends. They're still my friends today. They're amazing people. And I didn't just call them. I didn't just email them. I found out where they were going to be, what seminars and events they were going to be at, and I actually went there. Right? And I physically went there. And my speed training product, it was this DVD. It was an actual physical product. And what I did was I printed out copies of it, but on the front of the cover, instead of it being my name, it had my name and their name on it, right? Like for this person from this person. So when I met them, talked to them for a minute, making friends with them, and then I mentioned I have this product. I did not ask them to promote. I just mentioned it to them, and I said I actually brought it for you if you want to check it out. I thought it'd be cool. Maybe you'll get something out of it you can share with your customers from inside the actual content. I'm not asking you to promote. I'm saying you might learn something here that may be valuable for your own customers. I'm giving value, right? And then I stay in touch with them. I email them. We talk on the phone sometimes. I'm asking them for advice. They're asking me for advice. We're building up real friendships. And I did this several months in advance of the launch. So by the time the launch needed to happen, I had emailed with these people. I didn't really know them, but we were cool enough where I could ask these 3 people to intro me and recommend that they promote the launch. And we got this effect, right? And they went to work on behalf of their friend, because that's what friends do for each other. And everyone promoted, right? And in the first week, we made over $100,000. I'm 21 years old. Yeah, it's a good launch. So when it came time for them to promote, I wrote each person's email copy, because they're going to email their list. Affiliates will typically, they have an email list. All they're going to do is copy and paste. We call it swipe. They're going to copy and paste the swipe that you write for them. I wrote unique email swipe for each of them. So they copy it, they put it in their web thing. Here's a subject line, put that in here. Here's the link. Okay, I did that. They hit send. It takes them all of 3 minutes to do. If it sells well, I write them more emails. I'll write them as many emails as I possibly can, right? Because they make money easily, and I get new customers for free. So you guys see how this works? And part of the reason I wanted to make sure that they all had a copy of the product while I hand them the DVD was also I wanted them to know that the product was badass, right? One of the things is in a lot of industries, it's amazing that there's a lot of people out there selling crappy products, selling crappy services. And an affiliate doesn't want to recommend someone else's product to their customers who trust them and then find out that the product they just recommended suck, okay? So it was important to me that they knew that the product didn't suck, because that would piss their customers off. So I've set the whole thing up, right? They're making money easily and they're not pissing off their customers. Of course, the question then is, the other part is, well, how did I ensure that I would make them money, right? Well, we had really good copy. We had really good conversions on the page. So they were making a lot of money every time they hit send on their email. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So here's what I figured out about getting affiliates. There's 2 big ways to go about getting affiliates. Like, you're building friendships with them, as you should. And I'm going to give you a little article from Joel Marion in a second. I'm going to break it down as what he's talking about, because he is the #1 affiliate recruiter on the planet by far. But the 2 biggest things I figured out is the 2 ways to go about getting affiliates. One is having the biggest carrot, right? Having the biggest carrot can be a huge thing, meaning having the most reward to offer them, the most incentive to offer them, meaning usually most people go, okay, well, that just means money, right, Jason? Like, if I can just pay them, and it's kind of true. If you can pay the affiliate more money than anybody else, they'll promote you. They just will, even if they're not friends with you sometimes. It's kind of amazing, but they will. They'll promote stuff that they never thought they would. But if there's a big enough number put in front of them, people start doing some amazing things. And this is what's happening with the high status book right now, right? Because our cart value is so high, we talked about that yesterday, right? Or in a previous module, of course. Because our cart value is so high, we're able to pay affiliates more per book sale than anyone else on the planet. Who do you think they're sending their traffic to? To us, right? And there's more coming in. If you're watching this, you have a list, contact us, we'll talk, all right? So we have the biggest carrot right now, right? Am I satisfied with that? What do you think? No. You think we're still testing, trying to make it even higher? Yeah, I want to create that space between me and the guy behind me even further, right? I want my moat around my castle to be even bigger, even harder, even more arduous. I want to pay affiliates so much money that other competitors look at it and they're like, what the fuck? How does he do that? That's what I want, okay? And it's not always money. That's what I think is important. The biggest carrot, the biggest reward, the biggest incentive, the incentive doesn't have to be cash. It can be, right? I found that there's 3 big things that really motivate people in terms of incentive, especially for males. Women, it's a little bit different, but it still works, especially if they're entrepreneurs and they're business savvy. But it's this: cash, skills, connections, okay? What do people want in terms of cash, skills, connections? Pay them more cash than anyone, they're an affiliate. If you can offer them a valuable skill that they need help with, that will help their business grow, that will make them happier. I have a friend who, in exchange for copywriting services, he gave the guy dating advice because he was a dating coach, right? So he didn't pay him money, but he gave him a useful skill that helped his life. So you can do skills, right? And then connections. A lot of times, if you can connect someone to someone else, someone that they want to meet, someone that they want to know, someone they want to get in contact with, but they can't, if you can provide that connection for them, isn't that valuable? Might they feel indebted to you? Want to reciprocate in some way? Of course. Okay, so this obviously isn't like a socializing product or anything, but in general, it's a very, very abundant-minded and effective rule to just connect as many people as you possibly can. I know people who in evolutionary science, they call it mate guarding, where if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and you go out, instead of like being open and social, you like stay with the mate the whole time to guard them so no potential suitors come up and try and steal that person from you. It's called mate guarding, right? And it happens in all kinds of different species out there besides humans. But I've seen people mate guard their friends. Like you have a friend who's like really cool or popular or wealthy or people want to know, and instead of you just like introducing them to everyone and just giving value, you like try and keep them away from everybody so they're only your friend. Okay? You guys know what I'm talking about here? You ever seen this before? Right. So not a good idea, right? Just be the ultimate connector. It's a really good way to add value to affiliates' lives, but it's also a really good way just to meet more people. Because every single person, you have this awesome friend. Let's say your friend is Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Just the coolest person on the planet. How is every person gonna feel when you're the one who introduces them to Leonardo? Great. How does their perception of you? Does it increase or decrease? Did your social status just dramatically jump up? Yeah. Holy shit, he knows Leo? And he's abundant enough that he's just introducing him? Amazing. Does Leo think you're needy and scarcity minded or awesome and abundant minded now too?
Awesome and abundant.
Right? How do most people probably treat Leo when they get to be friends with him? Do you think they're just like, oh yeah, let me like do awesome stuff together and introduce you to people? Or are they like, dude, let's just go to your house and stay there. Just like watch a movie. We'll bring the party there, right? Give. Lead with value, give, introduce. So cash, skills, connection, right? So having the biggest carrot. The other way is friendship, okay? And these can work together, of course, but it's friendship. So if you don't have an offer where you can pay more than anybody else and your offer is not crazy converting yet, if you guys are friends, they'll usually just say yes. They won't promote you all the time. They won't promote you like crazy, but it'll be fair. They promote you a little bit, you promote them a little bit. They know they're not gonna make the most money promoting you, but it's their friend. And we do things like that for our friends. I've promoted Ryan McGinn's stuff a lot. His stuff's good. His products are great. His conversions are good. They're not the greatest on the internet, and he knows it. But I will continue promoting him because he's a very good friend of mine. We have a lot of history, okay? And this is how most people are gonna be doing it in whatever industry you're gonna be in. Most of the affiliate stuff is just gonna be friends. You got drunk with them, you partied with them, you guys went on trips together, you did stuff together, you have shared experiences, shared goals, you've disclosed information with them you don't disclose with other people, all of those things, all right? So, as I stated before, Joel Marion is probably the ultimate affiliate recruiter on the planet, okay? He's the CEO of BioTrust, which is a 9-figure supplement company, and the majority of that company has been built not on paid traffic, but on affiliate traffic. Their big thing is affiliate traffic and then remarketing to the people that don't buy. So they're not buying cold media. They're following you around if you landed on their site, but for the most part, it's all Like, how would they know who to remarket and retarget if they didn't have affiliate traffic coming to the page in the first place? So it's all funneled and generated by affiliate traffic. He is, to build a 6-figure business on affiliates is a skill. To build a 7-figure internet business with affiliates means you're unbelievably good. All right. To build an 8-figure business with affiliates is mind-blowing. I've never heard of anyone who did that just on affiliates. Okay. To build a 9-figure business on affiliates is disgusting. It doesn't happen. It's never happened before. Joel is the only person who did that. Okay. No other company, internet marketing company, has done that. Period. So Joel actually has a list, what he calls his 10 rules for getting new affiliates. You guys want to go over this right now?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and it's very formulaic, because what he's talking about here is what you say to them and how you go about saying it to them to create the relationship. Like the very first email that you send them to start the relationship. Here's what you do. First thing you do is you introduce yourself and you praise that person. Okay, and he capitalized praise them. Okay, praise them. Not like generic flattery, but unique flattery that lets them know that you actually know them, you follow them, you know details about them, you pay attention to them. Something only someone who really, really respected that person would be able to say, would be able to know. The second thing you do in the email, after you've done that, is you highlight your credibility. Okay, they want to know, who am I talking to? Is this just another random person who doesn't know the ropes? Or is this a badass? Is this a badass talking to a badass, or is this a badass getting approached by a rookie? Okay, after you highlight your credibility, you also, and I added this in here myself, but you want to highlight in half a sentence maybe, any mutual acquaintances you have with this person. You guys both know the same person, both follow the same person, right? We feel a deeper sense of bond and trust and connection with someone when we find out that they have a friend that we have a friend, right? We have a friend in common. Isn't it amazing, you guys, like you're out at a bar and you meet someone and you find out you both know the same person, and all of a sudden you feel like you know them better? It's instant, it's unconscious, okay? Because our brain goes, oh, they're not out group, they're in group, right? They're one of us, they're not one of them. And the minute that switch gets flipped, it becomes so much easier to build a friendship and a relationship with the person, all right? So that's the second. The third, after you've done that, is ask for a review copy of one of their products and tell them you'd love to write a review on it that they can use however they'd like. So you're gonna and this is his tactic. The underlying principle to me here is that you are leading with value, right? You're offering to you, and you're showing interest, which is another way to create reciprocal interest, of course. But you tell them you'd love to write a review for their product and they can use it however they'd like. You can offer to help them in other ways too, right? You can offer to promote their product if you have a list. You can offer to write them, 3 guest blog posts that they can use for SEO on their blog, and you'll just give it to them for free. Offer them this is where you can offer them a skill, maybe a specific skill that you have. Maybe it's a specific connection that you have, cash skills connection, right? You're leading with value here. You want to show them there's some way that you can help them and you can help their business. Key right there. The next thing you want to do, and this is the major objective, is you want to get them on the phone or on Skype, okay? The reason Joel says this, and I remember I was 20 years old actually when I first met Joel, and this was right before I had that big $100,000 speed training launch. And Joel's telling me about affiliates and how to recruit them, and he goes, listen, the number one thing is get them on the phone. Skype wasn't a big deal back then, right? He says, get them on the phone. I was like, why? And he goes, because people, it's so easy for them to say no on email, but it's much harder for them to say no over the phone, right? So that can be really, really powerful, okay? So your objective of this initial email is to do everything we've talked about, but the primary objective is to set up a time for you guys to get on the phone or to get on Skype to talk, okay? Other things to note, don't be long-winded in the email. Anyone here ever get like a super long email and you're just like, I'm not reading this? Yeah, all the time. I get 1,400 a day, okay? Be short, be brief, get to the point. Be real, be personable, don't puff your chest out and pretend you're bigger than you are. Just be completely authentic. Disclose, if you're new, disclose it, right? Here's a really good phrase for everyone to remember, okay? Disclosure is disarming. Okay? Disclosure is disarming. What we mean by that is simply by disclosing any faults, any question marks, anything that can come up, it will actually make them trust you more. It's disarming. Oh, he's open to revealing stuff about himself. He's not trying to be someone he's not. He's upfront about his stuff. It lowers their guards. Okay? Couple more rules from Joel. He goes, never ask someone that you have not had at least one live conversation with to promote your product. So unless you've talked to them on Skype or on the phone, don't even think about asking them to promote. I will disclose that I have done this and it's worked out okay. I've had people say yes and I've had people say no, but I know for a fact when I know the person, I met them in person, I've talked to them on the phone, or we've hung out on Skype, and then I ask them to promote, it's almost a yes every time, okay? Joel, another rule, he goes, become a friend first, help them first, and it will naturally come back to you. It's very good basic general advice. And then the last one is Joel says, recruit relationships, not affiliates. Okay, recruit relationships, not affiliates. Do you think someone who's recruiting relationships, not affiliates, has an eye on a long-term future in business? You're thinking long-term, you're thinking bigger, right? Great way to go about it.
What was the one before that?
Become a friend first, help them first, and then it will naturally come back to you. And to me, that is the key, primary, most valuable distinction of this entire module. You're recruiting relationships, not affiliates. You're making friends, not business contacts. Who here hears that, though, and they think to themselves, well, what if I don't want to be friends with the person? Anyone think that? No? Okay, because I thought that.
I was about to say,
Yeah. Have you ever met someone that you know you could do business with, but you don't like them as a person?
There was a time when that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you meet them and then you try to work with them and then you're like, fuck this, it's not worth it. Never do that again.
Yeah. There's definitely, and you know what? In every industry, from charity and Save the Manatees to Wall Street and everything in between, there's going to be people who are just scummy. People who are just low status. People you just don't want to be friends with. It's going to happen. At that point, you're going to have to, that's like a personal decision you're going to have to make, right? Do I actually, listen, you can fake being friends with someone and you're interested in them, but it's painful and you don't want to do it, and you're not being real, and you're not being authentic. What I would recommend is be real, be authentic, and if this is someone you don't want to be friends with, great, don't recruit the relationship. Don't pretend you want to be friends with them and build a relationship. If you don't, treat it as such from the very beginning that it's business, not friendship. Right? Now, in that case, you're not going to have the friendship firepower working in your favor, right? In that case, if it's business, the only thing you can really rely on is what? The numbers, right? You're not going to sell them on we're friends. You're going to have to sell them on cash. You're going to make money easily by promoting this product. And sometimes they will, and sometimes they won't. So it's just something you have to keep in mind. The other thing, of course, is if most of the people you're meeting that could be affiliates and you're just not interested in them at all, and you write them all off really early and you just judge them, that's probably more of a you thing than a them thing. And you might want to go and do some work on yourself, right? I hear coming to one of Jason's live events can help you with that. Anyways, what questions do we have about affiliates? Recruiting affiliates, yeah.
How about the flip side of that? That if you're targeting one of these network of networkers, you're one of the guys in the middle of the hub who knows not only all these people, but all these other affiliate people. Those are the people who are gonna know the most people of anybody.
Right.
So they tend to have thousands more people that they know than they possibly have time to hang out with, meet with, quote, be friends with. It's like the kind of friend you see once every 5 years or whatever, not once every month or so. So how do you get past that barrier? where if you're trying to recruit them as a friend as opposed to an affiliate, but they, you know, they know 5,000 of you.
Let me ask you a question. How do you know when you're friends with somebody?
Share stuff in common, whatever that might be.
Well, let's list it out.
There's a wide range.
Let's list it out. How do you know when you're friends with someone? So the first thing was you share stuff.
Share something.
What do you mean
Which
share?
It could be anything depending on what the person is. It could be
Like share, like
Favorite
you share
activity.
cars or you share interests? What are we talking
probably
about?
at the highest level.
Cars?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be
At the
yeah.
highest level, yes. I mean, it could be a lunch. It could be
So
just
shared
a
it-
bowling game. It could be just a funny story. It could be like, you know, that guy who works in some other office in my building, and I see him in the elevator like once every couple of weeks, and we always trade like a certain joke. Yeah, I don't know him other than that.
Would you consider that? Would you consider that person your friend?
I mean, not a close friend certainly, but in the friendly category.
Do they make the friend cut for you?
Maybe a candidate.
They're a candidate, so they're not a friend
So
then.
it's like within one circle of that, maybe.
They're close to being a friend. They're an acquaintance, aren't they?
Okay.
I
That's
want.
that's better than acquaintance.
Okay,
That's
so
a high level of acquaintance or low level of friend, whatever.
okay,
in that borderline.
they're teetering,
Yeah.
super teetering right now. We could go deeper into this. It's not really the scope of this program, but what I would dig into is finding out how do you know when someone's a friend, right? How do you know someone's your friend? Like you do things together. We all have definitions of what that means, and then looking at that definition, see if we can redefine it in a way where you can consider these people your friends, even if you don't get lunch with them and hang out with them all the time. Because if someone asks me, like, Jason, how do you know when someone's your friend? I would just say it's when we shared a bond together at any time. I don't have to talk to, like I've had people who are like, you know, someone's a friend if I talk to them every week. They have to talk to me every week. That's an unconscious rule a lot of us might create. And if we don't hear from them once a week, then we're not friends. We're not real friends, right? But for me, I can go 3 years without talking to someone and pick up right where we left off, right? Because it's not about frequency, it's not about duration. It's like, do we share a bond together, a moment, something? That's how I know that someone's a friend. So with those people, for instance, I said they're still my friends today, 100%. I may have not talked to them in 6 months. We might talk twice a year, right? But they're still my friends. So you don't necessarily have to see them all the time in order to recruit the relationship. Does that make sense? It can be a couple of emails a year, a couple of phone calls a year. Maybe you see them for dinner once. That's it. That's totally a friend. All right. Any other questions? Yeah.
Maybe I missed this, but how do you actually find the best affiliates for you and your product?
That's a good question. So the umbrella term is just research, right? So I will figure out what are the key verticals that would be able to promote my product. So for instance, Higher Status it's success oriented, it's personal development, it's about growth. It's, you know, to me, it's the fastest way to becoming the highest value version of yourself, right? On an unconscious level. Well, who can promote that to their list? What verticals exist where this would be a good fit? Personal development vertical, niche industry, vertical, niche industry, same thing, right? We'll just say industry. So the personal development industry, the make money industry, right? Because they're interested in that stuff. Entrepreneurship industry, they're into that. Health and fitness, maybe a little bit, not totally. Dating industry, right? So there'll be more, right? But let's say we'll go with those ones. So then knowing that, I'll just search those terms on Google and I'll start finding websites, right? Related to that stuff. And if that person either has a social media following or an email list, how do I know they have an email list? Because they're capturing emails on their website, then that's a person. That's a potential affiliate, okay? So I'll go to page 44 if I have to on Google. I will go and I will dig, and then I'll go to the big terms, and then you go to that person's site and you see that they're talking about someone else, or they link to someone else, or they recommend someone else's website. So I'll go down the rabbit hole for all this stuff, and I'll gather it all up in one spreadsheet. And then of course you go to the ClickBank Marketplace. You do a lot of research there on affiliates there. And that's
So you look for successful blogs and websites like that.
and the other one I'm thinking about, which we haven't done yet, which I'm going to do after recording this, is on Facebook too.
looking at different Facebook groups. Like in a couple of years, you guys know Facebook groups is going to be like the thing on Facebook. It's forums on Facebook. That's all it is. But there's tons of personal development Facebook groups out there, different things like that, where if we promote the person who runs the group, or we talk to that person, recruit a relationship with them, they'll probably end up being a good long-term affiliate for us. And you can do the same thing. Any other questions on recruiting affiliates right now? All right, cool. So let's take 5 minutes, and then we will get back to our next cause of a 7-figure internet business: customer retention and back end.